Well, to be fair.
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 Welcome everyone to the Rotary RAZZ of June 21, 2022. A couple of reminders before we get into the program and the regular meeting. Number one, Jenna would very much appreciate it if everyone would pay their dues for the upcoming Rotary fiscal year. If you wish, you can pay one half of it now, and the other half would be due at the end of December. Number two, reminder that next week, for those of you who signed up, we will be meeting at St. James Restaurant at 6 p.m. for the Kendallville Rotary inaugural soiree. As far as the program this evening, the truth is I don't know a whole lot about Kid City. I've heard about it, I've heard bits and pieces, and I'm eager to learn about the particulars. So, with no further ado, let's have our guests explain what it's all about.
We are planning our normal first Saturday in August, which is August 6th this year. And is out. If you have places where you can give these out, take more than one. I have more stacks. We are still taking folks that want to bring events. We have some new events. We have a lot of old events. We're kind of at that point where folks that haven't sent in their paperwork are going to start to get those emails going. And some people that have sent, I will tell you, a lot of people send me stuff through email or through Facebook. And my Facebook that I've had for years and years got hacked. And I got a message the morning after I had neck surgery, so I didn't open it at 1 a.m., saying that some unauthorized authorization happened. And when I didn't respond, they shut it down. And yeah, I didn't respond. I got the next message was they were shutting them down for 30 days, and the next message I got was it was being disabled. So people that had responded to that original email or that stuff on there, I can't access. So that's been a little bit of a challenge this year, but we're getting there. Questions? Anybody have questions about Kids City? You guys have all been there or participated in some way. Any questions you have about Kid City or how we do Kid City?
How many kids do you plan for if you bring a group?
If you are a new vendor or somebody bringing, we tell them to plan for about 350 kiddos to stop by your booth. It depends. Folks that have been there for several years may have 1,000 kids that are shopping by their booths. We usually end up with around 100. Now last year, of course, was coming back after COVID. We were down numbers. COVID, we did not have our events like it would normally be at the fairground, but instead of just canceling the event, we partnered with the library and had basically a drive-by where the kids got a Kid City bag full of take and make activities. And the background, I mean, most of you guys said you know what Kid City is. Questions about Kid City this year? Or anything?
Is there anything that you're missing through the years? An area that you'd like to see filled in?
We would like to see more manufacturing out there. We would like to see, because we have a lot of the organizations and a lot of businesses. You know, the goal with Kid City is to connect up what we have in our community with the families that would be utilizing those services and to expose kids to different potential jobs and occupations they might be involved in. So it's kind of got more than one fold to it. Where over the years that we always envisioned having a manufacturing section that just has not grown. And that's primarily because when we try to figure out a way to get them there, the staffing that's required and getting them out there and pulling them folks out of production doesn't work very well. They just end up.
Communities in the area picked up on this idea, or did Kendallville get that idea from someplace else?
How Kid City came about was way back when we used to have Step Ahead Council. All the counties used to have Step Ahead Council. And we were talking about creating a resource fair because we were looking at all the things that Kendallville and Noble County has to offer and said we don't really lack those pieces, we lack the connection. So people don't know about what we have. And Vi Weiss and Grace Householder happened to be in California and happened upon an event that was a Kid City event there. So they brought that back to the table and said, why don't we create something like that? And we worked with, initially we started with a grant from the Department of Health, Indiana Department of Health. It's the only year we've ever had any kind of state or federal funding. Everything else has been funded locally. But that was our year to start. And so we're looking at health benefits and all those positive pieces that we can bring back to the community. And it's just growing. I don't go out and do fundraising for it. It just, we send out the sponsorship stuff and people sponsor different groups. And to bring an event, we don't charge a fee. So if you're, well, Jenna, she's gonna do an event with Five to Thrive. Right. So this is Thrive by Five.
There's
I
a
knew I
lot of
was
thrives.
flipping it.
There's a lot of thrives everywhere.
But there's not a fee for her to bring that event because there's a cost for her to bring that event. For your organization, your business, you're gonna be doing activities that's interactive. It's, you know, the things that kids don't wanna do is, here's my coloring page, color it in. That's not gonna get you anywhere. But so to have those interactive events and things that really draw a kid in makes a big difference. And look at vaping, alcohol. We tell folks, if you think it's going on, it's going on. So if your kiddo or your grandkid walked in with this, y'all would know what it was. Absolutely, and like, but if he walked in with this, or they're, you know, they can go anywhere. They're walking into church, they're walking into wherever. You would have no idea what could be.
Oh, so they're not even emptying a water bottle and putting vodka in it. It's like
This one's a
Like the old days, it was simple.
So,
You can still do that
Is
too.
it for alcohol or is it for like drugs?
Whichever.
Versatile.
That's hidden in plain sight. Here not too long ago was a public gathering, and some of the school administrators and others were there, interested people. But they bring out some of these things and what's in front of us. What's remarkable when you go to these drug-free Noble County meetings, and Becky, they research this stuff, the service stations locally that are selling things, these glass pipes for methamphetamine, I mean, they're behind the counter and they're in certain places, certain establishments, and you would not have to necessarily patronize, be part of that if they were aware. But how do you get the word out? These people are selling things that your children, they're selling marijuana substitutes and things that draw into the culture. Others don't sell it. Are they selling cigarettes to kids less than 21? They can't. But how can they sell this other stuff? We will sell it to kids that are, I mean, what can be done locally to try and raise the awareness of who to support and who not to on the way of getting your gas or a convenience store.
I was not
And
expecting the amount of discussion that this talk would have regarding drugs and kids. Becky mentioned that the use of vaping materials by students in the high school has reached 45%. She came armed with a box filled with seemingly ordinary household items. Gum containers, Kleenex, boxes, tampons, water bottles, the list goes on. The purpose of these items, of course, is for students to hide their illegal contraband, including vaping materials and whatever else they may be imbibing. I remember about 5 years ago when flash drives were ubiquitous in the school. It was not uncommon for our resource officer and principals to have drawers filled with confiscated flash drives that were not flash drives at all, but a method for students to vape. Evidently, the businesses that sell such items are often put out of business when somebody finds out what they're doing, only to find that other businesses pop up selling the same item or something very similar. It becomes a game of a whack-a-mole. The last thing Becky discussed was a problem with fentanyl. I can't turn on the news without seeing a story about it, and I was glad to see that she was talking about it by taking the stance that it was a poison, in that one does not have to be an addict to have this drug cause death. It can be a one-and-done kind of thing. The problem is that students and their parents are not fully aware of this reality, nor are consumers fully aware of what they're actually purchasing from their favorite vape shop or marijuana boutique. RJ was our raffle man for this evening, and because we were short on tickets and we have yet to find our deck of cards, RJ decided to go with a 50-50 kind of drawing. Every Rotarian received one ticket for $2. The total amount of money was taken in, and $30. It was total of $30, so $15 went to the foundation, and Fred Cree won the other $15. Alan Roush, also known as the Conductor, was stepping in for Glenn this evening, and he led us in a very timely, organized rendition of both the songs Smile and For She's a Jolly Good Sistren, to celebrate the year of Lisa Charles as a president. Also led us in singing Happy Birthday to Tom Jansen. And then we had fines, and they were meted out by RJ. Fred was fined because he won. David Hunter was fined because RJ was jealous of the freedom of retirement. Fred was fined again because he was late. Roush was late as well. And I think, I do believe, yes, it's true, Jerry Jansen was fined for being on time because such an event was an anomaly. The last fine was given to Doc Gaff because of some kind of illness that RJ endured. There were quite a few brag bucks, including the following. RJ gave $1 on behalf of Dave Hunter, who came to the rescue when RJ's bike went kaput. He gave another one on behalf of Doc Gaff when RJ's Mini Cooper went kaput. And the good doctor came to the rescue, offering his Mustang for RJ to use for a bit of time. Donna kicked a buck because she's getting her taste back. Dave Hunter published an article in a national magazine about motorcycles. Doc Roush praised his son because he received his MBA from Notre Dame. Jenna praised Jane Cox, who is now the GM of the American Legion. And as a thank you, Jane will be increasing the meal prices come the beginning of July. And Jenna gave a brag buck on behalf of she and her husband's 25th wedding anniversary, and they're celebrating in probably the best way possible, with Jenna being at a Rotary meeting and her husband shooting craps in Las Vegas. Well, that would be it for now, except for a couple of last-second announcements. One, Jenna would appreciate if you paid your dues. That's very important that we get those under our belt. And secondly, the meeting next week will not be at the American Legion, but rather at St. James for the inaugural. So without further ado, let's listen to RJ give us his bits of wisdom and the 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do.
Okay, as I watched television this last week or so, it makes me think of two things. And number one, adage you all know is you should dance like nobody's watching. And only slightly less known is that you should email like someday it'll be read out loud at a deposition. And with that, will you all please rise and join me in a four-way test of the things we think, say,